everybody, it's Kelsee Briana J, and today I'm filming a video with what I feel like is the golden ticket of the makeup industry right now. It is the new and exclusive Pat McGrath Mothership eyeshadow palette. And I was lucky enough to get my hands on this because so many of you guys tagged me. I acted really fast. I appreciate when you guys keep me up to date. You keep me on my toes. And I was able to snag this from Selfridges app the day that it launched. So this palette appeared out of thin air and it was a mysterious palette. I had no idea that Pat McGrath was coming out with another Mothership palette, as many of you all didn't. It appeared out of nowhere, but you all are makeup detectives. I think that my makeup ninja skills have been passed on to you all, and I bow at your feet because you all have got it on lock. Okay, because I would have never discovered this by myself. So this palette is exclusive to Selfridges, which is not an American-based retailer. So I don't regularly check their website or their app for any new developments. And not only was this exclusive to Selfridges, but it was exclusive to Selfridges app. The app. So you had to purchase this from their app, not directly from their website. And initially it was sold out when I first went to go look. And then later on it restocked. The same day it restocked, I was able to get it and I placed my order and I crossed my fingers and I hoped that it would come to me. So I am so impressed with how fast this came from across the pond because I live in Tennessee. I don't live on the coast. So sometimes whenever I order things like this, it may take an additional day to get to me. This one came in record time. I don't hardly get stuff from places that have distribution centers in my state this fast. So I'm very impressed with that. Even though I did have to pay $30 to get this bad boy shipped to me, which I should have just paid $55 for their annual shipping. That way I can order more things as I need them. But I didn't, and it's cool. But I definitely want to order more from them because fast shipping goes a long way with me. So this palette retails for $120, but like I said, I did have to pay $30 for the shipping. So it cost me a little bit more than it typically does to get my Pat McGrath products. And I didn't have any coupons. So I was like, dang, auntie, you just gonna spring this on us during the Sephora sale? But you all already know that Pat McGrath is my kryptonite and I could not do without it. So I went ahead and placed that order. And here is the art. You all know the boxes that Pat McGrath Mothership eyeshadow palettes come in are a work of art, and this one is no different. It has this really beautiful rose with the diamonds and it's just luscious. The official name for this palette is the Mothership 6 Divine Rose eyeshadow palette. Now I was kind of confused about that simply because you know the Pat McGrath Mothership palette that just came out not too long ago? This one? The Midnight Sun palette? Yeah, this one. We remember. Wasn't that long ago. This one is also number 6. So that added to the mystery of this new palette. I'm like, was this not supposed to make the production line? Like, how are these both number 6? I need some answers to that. And I need some answers fast because this one is exclusive to Selfridges. This one is available to everybody. But I will say that Selfridges did get an extra little bonus to their packaging for this palette. Theirs is gold, and I was very jealous about that because I want a gold palette from Pat McGrath. But we didn't get that. We got the original packaging that the Mothership palettes come in, which is beautiful. And I'm not complaining about that. But if there's gold palettes out there. But this one is also 6, so I'm like, who messed up the numbers? Wouldn't this be 7? Or just not included in the number system at all since it was so exclusive? Who knows? The description for this palette on Selfridges' website says, Vogue anointed Pat McGrath the title, the most influential makeup artist in the world. So we think it's safe to say she's a living legend. Mother pieces together the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership 6 Divine Rose eyeshadow palette exclusively for us, just in time for festival tipples and merrymaking. What are festival tipples? I'm gonna have to look that up. From shimmering champagne hues to glittering bronzes and matte nudes, there's a shade for deeply dramatic and sparkling looks. Use without caution. So I'm not quite sure if this palette is going to make its way off of Selfridges app to be available to everybody. Now I will say, I'm not going to drop names on whose account I was on, but I am going to say that I saw on a post on Instagram that an account that was talking about the palette and talking about it coming to America, and Pat McGrath commented an emoji face that was like this. So you tell me what you think that means. Now, I don't have the screenshots, but I saw it with my own eyes, and we know each other. I've been your girl for a few years now, and I would not lie. I saw it. But I think we all kind of know what this means, but we don't have any definite dates yet, so don't get your hopes all the way up. But I don't think, personally, I don't think that this is going to stay that exclusive, but I'm not sure. That is all the information that I have currently for this palette. I want to go ahead and jump into the swatches for this palette. I did do comparison swatches, but since I have quite a few, I do want to go ahead and reserve those for the end of the video. That way you're not sitting here for 10 hours watching swatches. I want you guys to see this palette in action. So immediately following the swatches of the palette, I'm going to show you all how to create this eye look, and then stay tuned until the end and I will tell you all my final thoughts about this palette as per usual. So I hope that you all enjoy, and I will check you all shortly. So I'm going to take a Rephr P07F Fluffy Blending Brush and the color Valoria, which sounds like something from Game of Thrones. I'm going to take this color and pop it in my crease. I do have on concealer on my crease, but I smoothed it out. And this is going to be my transition slash my first crease color. So I'm just going to go back and forth with this color and diffuse it out. But with Pat McGrath eyeshadows, you typically don't have to do too much. Since this color is pretty light, I am going to go over it another time just to build up that intensity. Next, I'm going to take the same brush and the color Extreme Mahogany. And I'm going to move down and lightly grace this in my crease just to add a little bit more depth. I don't need a lot. And then I'm going to go in the outer corner with this color too. And then make sure you build up the color on the outer corner until it's completely opaque. So on your G Builder 3, and I'm going to go back in with Mahogany. I'm going to take this color on my lower lash line and smoke it out. Pretty much all the way across, except for the very inner portion of my lower lash line. Same brush, and I'm going to dip into Skin Show Nude, which I probably should have done this step with this brush first. But hey, YOLO. I'm going to take a little bit of this right underneath my brow. Next, I'm going to take Lovelace, same flat shader brush, and pop that right next to the outer corner color. I'm not taking it all the way over. I just want to begin to add some shimmer on the lid, and then I'm bringing it up to the crease, not in the crease, and I'm just patting it on the edge of the outer corner color. That way it blends together. Same brush, and I'm going to dip into Rose Dusk. Tap that right next to this color, moving closer to the inner corner, but yet I'm still not there yet. Boom. Now I'm going to take a smaller brush. This is a Wayne Guy 07 and the color Refined Gold 002. And this is going to be my inner tear duct color. So I'm going to carefully pop it on and then blend it over. On the lower inner corner, I'm going to go in with Astral Solstice and pack this on and meet it over. So I'm going to add liner and lashes, and I'll be right back with the finished look. So here's my finished look using the Divine Rose palette. So now let's get to it. I love the way that my look turned out, and that's to be expected because I think that Pat McGrath is the gold standard in terms of eyeshadows and eyeshadow formulations and how she arranges her color stories of her palettes. I think that the woman is a genius, and I've not tried a palette from her that I don't like yet. And that's something to be said because I personally do not care for the color rose or the color mauve or anything in that family. It's just not my personal preference to wear and utilize colors like that. And And so for Pat McGrath to make me really like the way that my eyeshadow looks, it just really speaks to her level of genius and the quality of her eyeshadows. As per usual, every single eyeshadow in this palette performed beautifully. The eyeshadows are very smooth, they're very buttery, they give me the color payoff that I'm looking for. Yes, they are pricey, but in my opinion, they are worth it because they save time. You don't have to spend a lot of time packing on eyeshadows. You don't have to spend time worrying about what colors go with what. She takes the guesswork out of it, does the work for you, puts it in a palette, and boom, it is there for you. So speaking freely with you all, because you're my Kel Belles and I love you, this color story is not unique. We've seen this before, both from Pat McGrath and from other brands. Now, you may not have all of Pat McGrath eyeshadow palettes like I do, but if you do, you definitely have these colors from her. So if you are on a budget, or if you're trying to decipher whether or not you want to get this palette or not, and you already have all of her other palettes, and you're like, do I need this one? And you're just not getting it to collect it, my personal opinion is that you do not need this palette. But for myself, I'm an avid collector of Pat McGrath things, especially the Mothership eyeshadow palettes. So, like Tina says, the fancy face, I'm a completionist. I need to have all of the palettes. So for me, this was non-negotiable. When I saw it, I knew I was going to buy it. If you're not like that, and I applaud you for having willpower like that, then I don't think that these colors are different enough from some of the other colors that she's already given us. The difference is this palette is organized differently from the other eyeshadow palettes, and she's placed these eyeshadows together for our convenience. I know a lot of people do not like to admit that, especially in the beauty industry, but sometimes we as people buy stuff just for convenience. If you like rosy, mauvey, pinky type tones and you don't have time to look through all of your Pat McGrath palettes and sit there like an artist and have 10 of them spread open and dip into this palette and dip into that palette to create a similar color story, and you just want to have one palette there that you don't have to guess which color kind of looks like that can give you that same type vibe, then that's what you're buying it for. The woman is a genius in terms of crafting an expert color story. You can tell that she's been in the industry as long as I've been alive. For any of you all who are on the fence about this palette and you like this color story and you feel like you have colors like this, maybe they're not Pat McGrath, but you have similar colors in your collection. So let me give you all a quick comparison. Is a ribeye steak going to taste the exact same from Applebee's as it does from Ruth Chris, even though it's the exact same cut of meat? I think we all know the answer to that question, and that is how I feel about makeup. It is different levels to this, and Pat McGrath is top tier. So I really like the palette. The only thing is that I personally do not care for the color rose or mauve. Otherwise, it would be a love just like all of the other Pat McGrath palettes. But it's a personal thing with me, not necessarily a quality thing. And also, I wish that I had a little bit more of a heads up about this palette, and it would have been nice if it dropped during the Sephora sale. But hey, we can't all get what we want. I'm glad I at least have my hands on it, and I am impressed with the shipping time because it came quick. So let me know if you all were able to get your hands on it. We'll see if it comes back or if it doesn't. I think it is, but don't take my word for the gospel because I have absolutely no concrete evidence that it's coming back or coming to America. All I know for now is that it is on Selfridges app as well as on their website. So that's all I got. That's all I know. Let me know what you all think about this palette down in the comment section, and I will check you all in my very next video, which will be super soon. Smooches. Bye. Enjoy the comparisons.